Hey everyone, Yan Zhao back again. Wizards of the Coast is tearing it up with their Unearthed Arcana releases. Today, they just dropped 4 new playable races: the Fairy, the Hobgoblin of the Feywild, Owlfolk, and Rabbitfolk. There's a little bit of questionability how this works with their Lineage System, but stay tuned, we'll get right into it. The last update we had to the Unearthed Arcana was just a few weeks before Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft dropped. Perhaps this is Wizards of the Coast way of getting out 4 new playable races that is going to be in the Candlekeep campaign guide. That being said, let's start off with one of the worst aspects of this release. It's in the creating your character area. They've decided to very poorly re-implement the Lineage system, even though they're calling these playable races. Now, for anyone who doesn't know the controversy, since forever, each race, men, elves, dwarves, whatever, had their own special characteristics and their own specific statistics. Wizards decided, well, we need to change this up because there was a lot of complaints about, well, this is racist. How come some races have negative stereotypes? Creatures with 6 arms are negative intelligence, which relates to some real-life racial group. So, what Wizards did is they decided to make a lineage system, which in some ways made sense. In the last update, where you became a Frankenstein, a Hexen beast, which is basically kind of a witch, or a vampire, it made sense to change the way you do statistics. And that way is you take your basic stat scores, you increase one by 2 and a different one by 1, or increase 3 stats by 1. This makes sense when you start off as one thing and you switch to something else. But here, they're trying to have their cake and eat it too by simply calling something a race and then being like, well, just pick your own stats. That doesn't really make sense in any way, shape, or form. I guess if you leave it up to the DM to say, okay, these are my official stats for this race, maybe it makes sense. It's very disappointing how poorly and how confusing this whole legacy system is implemented. Something that could be very well done is just haphazardly thrown together to see what would stick in order to avoid criticism. The first of the 4 new playable races that all come from the Feywild, which is an area of the D&D universe that is basically uber nature. Everything is growing and alive with life energy. The first one is the Fairy. F-A-I-R-Y, Fairy. Yeah, there's no way that's ever going to be misinterpreted or abused. Couldn't spell it? F-A-E-R-I-E or something? Oh, come on, Wizard. It actually seems to be pretty neat. The fairies are infused with magic of the Feywild. They share a few commonalities with one another, but can differ widely in appearance, behavior, and attitude. Many fairies have a special physical characteristic that sets them apart from other creatures of their kind. For your fairy, roll on the table, and here are the characteristics they give. Number 1 is have small wings like an insect. Number 2, shimmering multicolored skin. 3, exceptionally large ears. 4, a constant glittering mist surrounding you. That's kind of cool. 5, a small spectral horn on your forehead, like a little unicorn horn. Aww. 6, your hands never get dirty. Okay. 7, you smell like fresh brownies. So like the chocolate brownies you bake in the oven, or like you've been doing it with the creature, the brownie. Oh, Wizards. Or number 8, a noticeable, harmless chill surrounds you. See, I don't know. I just think they were a ghost if they had that. But fairy traits. You are a Fey. You are small of size, 30-foot walking speed. You have Fairy Flight, which is a flying speed equal to your walking speed, and you can hover. It is magical and does not require the use of your wings if you have them. Fairy Magic. You know the Druidcraft and Fairy Fire spells. You can cast Fairy Fire without expanding a spell slot, and you must finish a long rest before you can use it this way again. You can also cast this spell using any spell slot you have. The last is Fey Passage. You can squeeze through a space as narrow as 1 inch wide, unless you're a chomper. Whether you've always wanted to be Tinkerbell or just a mischievous spirit, the fairy actually sounds like a pretty good racial choice. I could definitely see someone being a trickster rogue, or, how cool would it be being an extra small barbarian or battle master? Next up are the Hobgoblins of the Feywild. I guess to separate them from the Hobgoblins of Beverly Hills. Hobgoblins trace their origin to the Feywild, where they first appeared with their goblin and bugbear kin. Aw, man. Is this like goblins and bugbears were doing it and we got hobgoblins? That history has left its mark, for though hobgoblins are found through the material plane, they continue to channel as an aspect of the Feywild's rule of reciprocity, which creates a magical bond between the giver and receiver of gifts. On some worlds, such bonds lead hobgoblins to form communities with deep ties to each other. In the Forgotten Realms, vast hobgoblin legions have emerged with ranks upon ranks of devoted soldiers, noteworthy for how effective they are at fighting as a unit. Hobgoblins are generally taller than their goblin cousins, but not quite as big as bugbears. They have curved pointy ears and noses that turn red or blue during displays of emotion. Oh man, that's gotta be super awkward when you're at the beach and, you know what I'm saying, you see someone cute and a Speedo walk by. Not great. Not great to be a hobgoblin. They have the following traits. You are a humanoid. You are medium size. Walking speed is 30 feet. Dark vision to 60 feet. Fey ancestry, so you have advantage on saving throws you make to avoid or end charmed condition on yourself. Fey Gift. You can use this trait to take the help action as a bonus action, and you can do so a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. You regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Starting at the 3rd level, choose one of the options below each time you take the help action, whether as a bonus action or as an action. So your choices are Hospitality. You and the target of your help action each gain a number of temporary hit points equal to 1d6 plus your proficiency bonus. So every round you can get a 1d6. That's pretty nice, especially at lower levels. Passage. You and your target of the help action each increase walking speeds by 10 feet until the start of your next turn. This is pretty nice, especially for melee classes that, man, you really need to get somewhere fast, but you're stuck with like a 30-foot speed limit. Not bad. Spite. Until the start of your next turn, the first time you or the target of your help action hits a creature with an attack roll, that creature has disadvantage on the next attack roll that it makes within the next minute. This is also very handy, and that's even handy at higher levels. Fortune from the Many. If you miss with an attack roll or fail an ability check or saving throw, you can draw on your bond of reciprocity to gain a bonus to that roll equal of the number of allies you can see within 30 feet, maximum of +5. So larger party bonuses don't help. You can use this trait a number of times equal to your proficiency, and you get it all back after a long rest. So these are some pretty nice features for the Hobgoblin race, especially if you're in a very combat-heavy campaign. Let's say you're doing some dungeon crawl, Tomb of Horrors, something like that. These guys could really come in handy. Hobgoblins definitely seem like an interesting race to play. Somebody who works at Wizards of the Coast must own birds, because this is the 3rd bird race we have now, the Owlfolk. Distant kin of giant owls, Owlfolk come in many shapes and sizes, from petite and fluffy to wide-winged and majestic. Owlfolk have arms and legs like other humanoids, as well as wings that extend from their back to their shoulders. Because of their ancestral tie to the Feywild, Owlfolk can innately see magic of their surroundings. Like owls, Owlfolk are graced with feathers that make no sound when they move or fly, making it easy for them to sneak up on you in the library. Okay, why are they in libraries? Your Owlfolk character might be nocturnal, or perhaps your character is simply prone to rise later, embodying the common nickname of Night Owl. Yeah, that was actually something Wizards wrote, not me. The Owlfolk traits. You are humanoid, can be medium or small. You can take your pick. Walking speed is 30 feet, 90 feet of dark vision, which is kind of nice. They at least acknowledge that. They have magic sight. Your keen senses can focus to see the presence of magic. You gain the ability to cast the detect magic spell, but only as a ritual. Your spellcasting ability for the spell is your choice of intelligence, wisdom, or charisma. You can also cast a spell normally with any spell slots you have. That sounds kind of nice. I like it, but as a ritual, I don't know, man. You gotta spend 10 minutes to start seeing magic stuff. I don't know, it's like you're dropping acid and you gotta wait a little bit for things to start happening. Nimble Flight. Thanks to your wings, you have a fly speed equal to your walking speed, so 30 feet. When you fall, you can use your reaction to make a dex save to stop falling and fly in place until the start of your next turn. This is pretty handy overall. I don't know, so at the start of your next turn, can you fly regularly or do you just start falling? Pretty handy, but it seems kind of OP. I might limit this. You know, I might make it like you have the equivalent of like a ring of feather fall, and then as your character levels up to a certain level, then you can actually start flying. Silent feathers. You have proficiency in the stealth skill. So that's pretty handy, and it's nice that it's a little bit more following the theme than a lot of the races that we see. Would I play an owl? Yeah. Could make some cool monks or a rogue, but I don't know, how many more of these bird races do we need? And as a DM, man, stop giving my players flight right away. And last up is Rabbitfolk. Bounding across the wilds, Rabbitfolk from the Feywild embody a spirit of freedom and travel. Rabbitfolk are bipedal with the characteristics of long feet of the animal they resemble and fur in a variety of colors. They share the keen senses and powerful legs of the leporine creatures, I don't know how you pronounce that, and are full of energy like wound-up spring. Rabbitfolk are blessed with a little fey luck, and they even find themselves a few fortunate feet away from dangers during adventures. And the traits. You're humanoid, your size is medium or small. You can choose small, obviously. Come on, you're being a rabbit. Your walking speed is 30 feet. Hair trigger. You add proficiency bonus to your initiative rolls. That's pretty cool. Leporine senses. You have proficiency in the perception skill. Lucky footwork. When you fail a dex saving throw, you can use your reaction to roll a d4 and add it to the result, potentially turning the failure into a success. This is maybe one of the best ones because, man, you really need those dex saves, especially at higher levels. Rabbit hop. Once during each of your turn, when you walk at least 5 feet, you can hop, rolling a d12, moving that many feet in a direction of your choice. This extra distance doesn't cost movement, but you can hop only if your speed isn't 0. I really like that. It's nice to have something a little bit more specific to the race as opposed to like everybody gets dark vision, everybody gets flight. This is something a little better. All right, so what do you think of these new races? I kind of like them, actually. I think it's nice to see a little bit more traditional myth and folklore type races in terms of the poorly written fairies and hobgoblins. You even see those in Tolkien's work. The Owlfolk and the rabbit, I mean, I don't really understand the desire for all of these half animal, half human races. The lizard people, kinda. But, I mean, are there really that many furries playing D&D? Is it really that big of an option? It would be fun, I guess, to try, but if the whole of your character revolves around being part animal or something, instead of really making a strong character, that's just going to be kind of boring. But tell me what you think. Do you guys like these? Write your comment down below. Which one of these 4 would you play? If you like this video, click the thumbs up, give me a subscribe, and I will definitely be back soon with more D&D videos.